Hey Revengers, it's Chris from Revenge Performance. Just kind of doing a little short video about our day at Tulsa Race on Race Week Day 4. We actually rebuilt our automatic on this trailer here that day. Unfortunately, I didn't get as much video as I thought. We do have a brief clip here, but I will try to do a little voiceover and some pictures as well. So if you hadn't caught up on our YouTube channel, you want to check out some of the other videos about race week, and you can see that we overheated our transmission towing in around Ennis, Texas. And so, not to be deterred, we decided to go ahead and let's make it right. Let's go through the transmission, and we took it out on day 3 at Tulsa. And on day 4 here, you can see here we are using our great little workbench here, our trailer. Brent and Hunter actually went back and got our trailer from Thunder Valley because we were, stuck in that parking lot with the overheated transmission. We didn't want to try pushing through traffic in Dallas. And so we had our trailer back, and that we thought that'd make a perfect workbench for tearing this transmission down. And with a little help from a local O'Reilly, we got some pans and some things, and it really ended up being a pretty good day working on this transmission. It's probably 10 o'clock by the time we got started. Maybe 11, I can't remember. We were waiting on some parts which came in overnight from Kigley Racing, and we'll just get right into it here. In a minute here, you're going to go ahead and see our transmission fluid. Anytime you pull an auto and you end up with transmission fluid that looks like this, you probably got an issue and you need to address that right away. So you can see here there's a lot of material in this oil, a lot of burned up clutches. No really big chunks, but you can tell how dirty it is, that the trans needs addressed. And you're just pumping this all throughout it if you continue to run with fluid that looks like this. And this is actually after a change. So this has probably got, I think we just literally pulled this up on the trailer, drove like 3 miles or something after this change. And so that all just got flushed out of it. You really can't get all the stuff out of one of these transmissions just with one fluid change. If you've had a failure like this, you're going to need to tear them down. Get to the torque converter and things like that. Yeah, this surprisingly, Kigley got our parts this morning like he promised, and we're tearing the trans down, and surprisingly the Kigley 6-disc friction stuff looks fine. You can see the drum, or wherever I guess that's the clutch basket, got a little bit warm, but there's no signs of warpage here. We're going to hold on to this for a spare, and we're going to set the stack height on here. It includes instructions in there and extra steels to set the stack height. Our JB Designs clutch set held up for the most part, but we do have one damaged friction ring here. You can see the teeth here are kind of blasted. That was the one closest to the piston, which they take the most heat and the most wear. So I don't really want to put that back in there. I fear that's going to hang up and it won't shift right. So we're going to swap out a spare one of those we got as well. But there was a ton of material in the pan. You can see here our filter is terrible. I suspect the line pressure was so low that it couldn't really pump based on looking at that. And so that's probably what made it not want to move. But we'll keep getting into it. But so far we haven't seen anything too terrible, and some surprisingly good parts still. You can see here we're having a jolly good time rebuilding this transmission on the trailer, and this is not the ideal conditions. You should be a little bit cleaner than this, but we're doing just fine. We got a little tray to keep our parts in, and we're using the transmission pan to soak some new clutches.
Hey Chris, it's about 6:45 in the evening. Do you have an update for us on the transmission?
Well, we rebuilt it on Brent's trailer, and can you give me a 14 wrench? Actually, I might need a socket and a ratchet. You may notice the whole crew's helping now since we're out of contention, so they're putting their time in. Doesn't really matter anymore. But trans is rebuilt. I think we mentioned it earlier. It doesn't look as bad as we thought. Placed some fan in the clutches and the filter and stuff. It looks pretty good. Did the best we did to clean it. Obviously, it's a lot dirtier than if we were at our shop and we could clean it properly. But we did the best we could. So hard parts wise and everything, it looks good. Should do well. So we're gonna try to make the track tonight for a run or two. Right now we got to put all the auxiliary stuff on, like the axles and downpipe, a transfer case,
But I mean, really, it shouldn't take more than a couple hours to do that. So we're just gonna keep at it and uh, get her fired up.
You really recording me now?
Yep.
It's 8:30 already, so I don't know how tonight's gonna go, but basically got driver's axle to get in, which is not always trivial sometimes when you're got some things in the way. So we're trying.
Look at this shot, Brent. Look at this. Sweet. That's a cool shot. That is. Oh, my camera doesn't do all that cool. Really? Here. Get over. No, it's just the way it's filtering the light's a little different. Yeah. Sounds good. So it appears she's running again. I'm gonna take her for a little cruise. Hopefully get it up to speed. And we'll see if she shifts. Can I chill out? Man, those wheels look cool. It's cool looking car.
Hey Revengers, we're at Tulsa Raceway for what feels like about the 10th time this week, which may be correct. Luckily, Tulsa has been very gracious, and we've been rebuilding our transmission in the parking lot. I think the stuff sat here 2 days, but you can see it is on all four wheels. We've done a little bit of return road test driving here and things like that. Nothing reckless that's going to make anybody's safety a problem, but it does seem to shift. Second seems a little bit hesitant. We did do a parking lot transmission rebuild, which included Hunter hand polishing our sun shell with some Scotch-Brite there, which is probably not the best. So I think the second gear band is going to take a little time to seat. The transmission is probably also still full of a lot of debris, and the torque converter and the cooler pipe pumped it out. Hunter spent about half a day and 2 gallons of fluid trying to flush the converter, but you really can't, unless you send it off to get rebuilt, which we will do after this event. Want to shout out Force Performance, whichever side their logo's on there. Very hospitable. We arrived on a trailer just before a rainstorm, and they had us come in. We got to see their cool facility, and free sunglasses, koozie cups, some stickers, and I think we might have had a cold snack, wet the back neck while we were there, as Derek would say. So things are going overall pretty well. We don't have super high expectations for tomorrow, but we'll just kind of see what happens. They're doing like bracket racing this year, so they're actually doing drag racing heads up tomorrow. But towards the evening, they're planning on getting some exhibition runs for cars like ours that had some difficulties during the week and kind of are officially out of the competition. I think they're also going to try to get some road weekers to be able to run again too. But a lot of that's contingent upon how the day goes. If there's a big oil down on the track or something, all that could get pushed back or eliminated entirely, because obviously they're going to have to do the real competition first and make sure that goes through safely. So we're going to take the day, follow the road week route. We don't really have enough drivers to follow along in the stealth that well, so we're just going to load it up on this trailer. Although it really seems perfectly happy right now, I think we can make it no problem. Motor sounds perfect, great oil pressure, trans is shifting better and better every single time it shifts. So I think we saved the trans, and maybe not the entire week, but we're still going to try to have fun. And I'm sorry if you're watching these videos like a week late, but we were here till midnight putting the transmission back in. The automatics are easy to seat on the block because you don't have to deal with your clutch splines, but all we had was our floor jack, and luckily someone loaned us another jack. There's no flat part on the bottom of the autos, and like the weights distribute really strangely, and the torque converter is trying to move around.
So we had a real hard time trying to balance that up on there. Probably if we had my buddy Austin Bollinger here, he probably would just grab the thing and just, stuck it in there. But I mean, they're like 200 pounds with torque converters, so I'm not strong enough to do that without hurting myself and when anybody's fingers get crushed, stuff like that. But engine hoist, a ton easier. Hopefully this is not a regular occurrence, removing the transmission at the track. But if we could have found an engine hoist, we would have saved like an hour just trying to get that thing on an engine. So that took a while. And then, you do what you can, but you end up, man, I really wish I would have brought this swivel socket or something like that to make things easier. So, I mean, I think we had the trans out the night before, which probably took 3 hours, which back at the shop, we could have done it in an hour, no problem. But met a really great lady at Waffle House, crazy Asian lady, and that's exactly her name. So I'm not culturally insensitive, or insensitive to crazy people, but she was a riot, and she's really working hard to earn her money at the Waffle House in Owassa. Is that where that's at? So if you want some good food after you get done with the track, there's not a lot of things open.
Good conversation too.
We had great conversation. We had great food. We've also been to Buffalo's twice this week because it's like the only thing open at like 1 or 2 a.m. when we're done messing around here. But we had the trans out on the bench. Well, we had it on our trailer, which we're currently optimizing the wood's moisture protection, things like that. But we, I don't know, we probably didn't get here till noon, right? Yesterday. Yeah. And then, we were fiddling with all the clutches and cleaning up stuff, and, we had to run to the parts store, get some brake cleaner and stuff like that. So, I mean, I think it was 3 or 4 by the time we got the trans all back together and cleaned up. And then we took a lot of breaks. I mean, it was a long day. There really wasn't a use in trying to rush too much because I wasn't going to hop this thing, on the starting line without, run around, make sure things was working, and then just kill some serious hard part in the transmission or endanger any other racers or spectators with, oil downs or something like that. So it was probably, on and off, putting the trans in and things like that. I think it was 10 by the time we really got done. We misplaced a couple of parts. What did we lose? The little camber washers on the SCE adapters to run Evo struts on these cars. The top one, you can rotate either way because it's an eccentric to set your camber. And one of them got stuck on the A-arm and we didn't see it. And so I think we spent 2 hours looking for that thing. And because without that, you can't really mount the strut right. It's just a lot of little things. And again, not trying to just hustle so hard that we make mistakes and things like that. So it took most of the day to get it back in and rebuild. But it seems to work. And we'll just see how the week goes. We're still going to try to capture a bunch of footage. We got fresh batteries for GoPro. Hunter and Nick are going to be in the Audi. Behind us taking some beautiful footage of Route 66. And so I really hope that that's something you guys want to see. If you can ever do an event like this, I mean, it's a totally different experience. Everybody's so nice. We had, 30, 40 people come by over the last 2 days, seeing if we need parts, help, tools, fluids. We had another 3000 GT owner here, asking if we need help with transmission and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's just, if you want to make friends at the drag strip, have some mechanical problems. That's the best way to make friends, honestly. And we did. And so I'm really glad. Whatever happens this week, we're going to come back stronger next year. We're not planning on changing as much about the car, and we're hoping to get some more help with the business and things like that too. So I have a little more time to work on a car, and we'll just go from there. But we love you guys. If anybody is at Thunder Valley tomorrow in Noble, Oklahoma, we'll be there whether we're racing or not. We'll be there, and there's a limited number of shirts we're just giving away. So if you want to come to the race week tent where June is at, there might be some shirts left, and if not, I'm sorry, that's just all we brought. And we hope to see you there.